It was a lazy Sunday morning, the kind where the sun barely peeked through the blinds, and I was knee-deep in a toolbox, sorting screws in our garage. The quiet hum of the neighborhood was shattered by a voice, sharp and unyielding. "You can't be serious. My wheelchair-bound daughter cleaning your entire pool by tomorrow night." My heart jolted. I looked up, stunned, to see a woman in crisp khakis and a starched blouse standing at the edge of my driveway. Her name, I learned soon enough, was Margaret Hensley, and she carried herself like she owned every blade of grass in Willow Grove Estates. "I'm Tom Harper, a former city cop turned county sheriff, though I kept that badge tucked away, hoping for a low profile. My daughter, Lily, was my world as 16-year-old with a rare muscular condition that kept her mostly in a wheelchair. We'd moved here 2 months ago, chasing peace after my wife's sudden passing tore our lives apart. Willow Grove, with its perfect lawns and promises of community, seemed like the fresh start Lily needed. But Margaret, or Karen, as the neighbors whispered, had other plans. She stood there, arms crossed, her eyes slicing through the morning air. "It's a mandatory community task," she declared, while VYing a printed form like it was a court order. "All teens must complete 1 SARE VYC per quarter. Your daughter's on rotation to clean my pool." I blinked, my mind racing. Lily, who could barely knob VY gate stairs, was expected to scrub a pool? I glanced at Lily, her hands gripping the armrests of her chair, her face pale but defiant. "Margaret," I said, keeping my voice steady, "Lily uses a wheelchair. She can't lift heavy tools or maneuver around a pool." Her lips curled, dismissive. "That's your problem to solve. HOA rules don't bend." She thrust the form at me. The word "saw" mandatory participation saw glaring in bold. "If she doesn't comply, it's a due law 150 fine." Lily's eyes flickered with hurt, but she stayed silent, her jaw tight. I wanted to tear into Margaret, but Lily's trembling hand stopped me. She needed me calm, not explosive. "We'll talk later," I growled. Margaret sniffed, turned on her heel, and strode off like she'd already won. The second she was gone, Lily let out a shaky breath. "Dad, did you hear her? She wants me to clean her whole pool." Her voice cracked. "What if I can't even reach the edge?" I knelt beside her, my heart aching. "We'll figure this out, kiddo. If her demands are unfair, we'll fight them." But Lily's eyes held something else, determination. "Maybe I should try," she whispered. "If I don't, they'll think I'm useless." Money wasn't the issue. I could pay the fine. But Lily's pride, her need to prove she wasn't just a girl in a chair, that was everything. We pored over the HOA rules that night, pages of petty nonsense about mailbox heights and holiday lights. Buried in the fine print was a vague clause about teen community SARE VYC, but nothing forcing disabled kids into hard labor. Margaret was twisting the rules to flex her power, and it made my blood boil. The next morning, Lily was up early, gloves and a small net in her lap. "I found these online," she said softly. "They might help." My protective instinct screamed, but her resolve silenced them. We drove to Margaret's sprawling 2-story home, its gated backyard hiding a massive pool. Margaret greeted us with a smug grin. "Punctual. Good. Everything's in the yard. Don't miss a spot." Her eyes flicked over Lily's chair, cold and unfeeling. The pool was no kiddie, set up turquoise water stretched wide, surrounded by slick tiles and steps Lily couldn't climb. Margaret pointed to a skimmer and brush. "Scrub the water line and rinse the deck. No help from Dad, or you'll pay the fine." Lily swallowed hard, nodding. I wheeled her to the gate, my chest tight. A few neighbors peeked from their windows, sensing the tension. Margaret stood watch, arms crossed, like a warden. Lily gripped the brush pole, her arms trembling as she strained to reach the water. The tiles gleamed, a slip waiting to happen. I stood frozen, every instinct screaming to step in. "Push harder," Margaret barked. "That corner's filthy." Lily's cheeks flushed, her breath sharp with effort. She inched along, scooping leaves with the net, each move draining her. Minutes dragged like hours. Her wheels skidded slightly, and my heart lurched. She shot me a look, "Saw, I've got this, Saw," but her face was tight with pain. Margaret's voice cut through again. "You missed a spot. Scrub harder." Her sneer was venomous, like she enjoyed Lily's struggle. A neighbor's voice broke the silence. Are you serious? Making her do this alone? A man with a hose stepped closer, frowning. I've lived here 5 years, never heard of a pool cleaning rule. Another neighbor, a woman with a tiny dog, chimed in. What's going on, Margaret? The air crackled as more residents gathered, murmuring, some pulling out phones to record. Lily's net slipped, clattering on the tiles. She was sweating, her arms shaking. I rushed to her, ignoring Margaret's protest. You've done enough? I whispered, brushing hair from her forehead. She panted. I'm sorry, Dad. I can't keep going. Margaret loomed closer. ZV no they oh. That's a fine. That's when I snapped. You don't get to talk to her like that. I hissed, stepping between them. The crowd grew louder, voices rising. This is inhumane, one shouted. She's in a wheelchair. A tall man, Greg from down the street, set down his toolbox. Margaret, this is harassment. Why not a sign, something she can do? Margaret's face hardened. Rules apply to everyone. But the neighbors weren't ha-vying it. This is bullying. A woman snapped, her phone capturing Margaret's scowl. I want to flash my badge in this circus, but Lily's faint nod stopped me. So let them see, saw, her eyes said. Lily tried one last time, brushing the pool steps, her body trembling. The crowd's outrage swelled. There should be exemptions. This isn't right. Margaret doubled down. If you don't like it, pay her fine. That was it. I reached into my pocket, and the air stilled. No gun, no shouting, just my sheriff's badge, glinting in the sun. I'm Tom Harper, county sheriff, I said, my voice low but deadly. What you're doing borders on harassment of a disabled minor. The crowd gasped. Margaret's face drained of color, her jaw slack. Sheriff? She croaked. Yes, I said. And I know when someone's abusing their power. Phones recorded her panic. Her weak excuse, I didn't know her condition was that serious, falling flat. A woman with a cane stepped forward. Shame on you, forcing a disabled girl to do your dirty work. The crowd closed in, their anger a levying thing. Margaret backed toward her house, muttering about guidelines, but no one bought it. Lily's breathing steadied, her hand in mine. All I wanted was to belong, she said, her voice breaking. The crowd hushed, their sympathy palpable. I faced Margaret. Drop this requirement for Lily and any kid who can't physically do it, or I'll open an investigation. Her eyes widened, fear replacing her arrogance. I'm sorry, she stammered, the words forced but final. She fled inside, the door slamming. The neighbors lingered, some offering support, others vowing to call the HOA president. By evening, word of Margaret's cruelty spread like wildfire. Neighbors brought meals, offered to build ramps, their kindness a balm to Lily's wounds. The next day, the HOA president, Richard Coleman, showed up apologetic. Margaret suspended, and we're investigating. No rule forces kids like Lily into such tasks. Lily spoke up, soft but firm. I don't want revenge. I just want people to understand disabilities aren't a punishment. Days later, at a tense HOA meeting, witnesses recounted the ordeal. Videos showed Margaret's harsh orders, Lily's struggle. I explained the legal issues forced labor on a disabled teen was discriminatory. Lily shared her pain, her voice steady despite the room's weight. Margaret, deflated, tried to claim ignorance, but the board wasn't fooled. They voted to remove her, ordering a written apology and medical cost coverage if needed. Margaret's apology was stiff, but Lily accepted it, guarded but gracious. The HOA rewrote its rules, ensuring tasks respected physical limits. Lily spoke at a disability awareness seminar, her words sparking change. Neighbors who once passed us by now waved, chatted, in VY ted us over. Lily's smile grew brighter, her place in Willow Grove secured. Weeks later, as autumn leaves fell, Richard stopped by. We're starting a support committee, Lily. We'd love your voice. Her grin was radiant. I'd be honored. That night, she turned to me. I didn't want that fight, Dad, but made me VY Cybele. I hugged her, pride swelling. Margaret thought she was untouchable, but she didn't count on a sheriff for a dad or a neighborhood that'd rally against her. Lily's quiet strength turned a tyrant's power to dust, Pro-VYing justice sometimes comes from a community saying, "Saw enough, saw." Standing on our porch, watching Lily wave to a neighbor, I felt peace. We faced a bully and won out with badges or fines, but with heart. Willow Grove was home now, its perfect lawns softened by empathy, all because one girl refused to be in VY Cybele. What do you think? Should Margaret have faced harsher consequences, like legal charges, or was her public humiliation enough? Could Lily have handled it differently? Or was her approach the only way to expose the truth? And how far would you go to stand up to a bully like Margaret? Drop your thoughts below, hit that like button if this story fired you up, and subscribe for more real-life dramas that'll keep you on edge.